So I was explaining you with the automation, right? How automation will help to deliver anything in a faster way, and the quality also, good quality we can maintain. And the same activity repeatedly, if you are doing anything, right? Same activity, it's good to automate that instead. Even for business also, right? If you are doing a business and daily the same routine, if you are doing, you better automate it. Instead you spending so much time, you may get some assistant and you can assign that job. So if it is something new that you can do, if you are very skilled, and the regular job you can assign to someone which you can automate it. So same thing with car industry, while I was giving example, right? From painting the body of the car to fitting wheels and fitting seats and everything. Instead, if man doing it, if something you automate that process, you know, they can work 24 by 7 with the high speed, and they will maintain the same quality. Even fraction change also we will not see. Okay. And you can, you know you can able to deliver within the promised time, as you know how much fast the robots will work. Same way, same thing, if you try to apply for your application also, right? If you want to automate it, what I want to automate it, dependency injection. We understand how to do the dependency injection. If I have only one, use case here, DO object I need it into service object I need it into controller. So I should create object of DO and manually do the dependency injection here. Same thing, I should create service object and manually I should do the dependency injection here. Instead I do it manually. This is the manual way, right? This D reference we used to pass it into service, and the service reference we used to pass it into controller. Manually I am doing it. Instead I am doing it manually, I can automate this object passing from here to here, that we will learn. There are two ways to do that: XML based and auto varied. Auto varied is the very simple and strongest one, and this is little, earlier we don't have this annotation concept, but we used to handle everything via XML in old days. Now it is auto varied. Auto varied is simple to use, but I wanted to give one XML based example to make you understand how we used to do. Okay. So XML approach we have, and auto-varied approach also we have. Okay. We will get conclusion today for this XML based and auto-varied. So while using XML, right? While using XML to avoid this manual dependency injection, DAO class, if I want to pass it into service class here, right? I need to avoid this reference tag here. Let me give the same example. Service DAO controller we have, right? So for doing dependency injection, first I'll be creating, yeah. Even in XML also, manually we did that, right? Manually I passed the ID. So that one I want to automate it. Even I don't want to do slowly, right? For my application, Spring based applications, I want to automate one by one. One by one feature I will automate it. So first thing what I am automating it, I don't want to pass this ID anywhere manually. Okay, that is my agenda. I want to avoid that. Automate. So Spring have some intelligence. It will do it for you. Try to understand how it got that intelligence. Okay. Bean DAO. I have been DAO. Let's say in manual dependency injection, I used to put ID here, and this is service class ID. Here is my controller class ID. I have. Excuse me. Yeah. So, if service class wants to talk with the DAO, or if controller wants to talk with service, okay, if I send a view request will go to controller, It should talk with service, service should talk with DAO. If it wants to talk each other, this object should available to each other. Earlier we used to pass manually. Reference is equal to, we used to pass D class reference here. And service class reference we used to pass to controller here. What is that ID? Yes. So service class ID we used to pass as a reference. Fine. So this object, this ID I am giving manually here. And this ID I am giving manually here. Manual dependency injection this is. Now in automation, I'll remove it. If you remove it, how it will inject? It can't inject. But if you mention auto wired is equal to, if you have setter method, if you have setter method inside this service class, you know, right? We will be doing dependency injection in two ways. Okay. So if you want to inject something into service class, your service class need to have either setter method or a constructor. So let's say service class is having set DAO setter method inside service class. So here you can use two options, auto wired by type or by name. You have two types, by type or by name you can configure here. So what it will do, I'm not doing any dependency injection, just I mentioned auto wired here. Through this statement, what I am trying to say to Spring Container is, for Spring Container we are saying, for service class, if you need any dependencies, in service class I have, let's say, a lot of dependencies with lot of setter methods. If I mention auto wired by type, what it will do, Spring Container, it will go to your service class and it will read all your setter method. It will try to understand first. Earlier, this guy used to do the dependency injection, but now he is saying me to do that with the by type approach. Now Spring will do that for you. Spring will go to such each setter method. It will try to understand. In service class, I have a setter method to set DAO. Only one setter method if I have. It will read that setter method and understand which object it might require. It will understand which object your setter method might require, and it will search for that object. Again, it will come back and search for that object here. Again, it will come back and search for that object. If my service class is having setter method of DAO, your setter method first it will read and it will come back and search for that object in XML file. Now it will find the DAO object. So automatically this DAO object will be injected into service. Same way, if I apply this, yeah, I'll clarify it. Okay. This means here I have classes. Okay. Here I have three POSO classes. Hello, am I audible? Okay. Yeah. So here I have a controller class. Okay. Just a class controller and a class service and a class DAO I have. Okay. Always we used to have three layers. Controller service DAO. Controller service DAO. Now I have three classes here. Now I have DAO class dependents. Let me rename them to A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C classes I have. So if I need C class inside this B, what I need to do? I should create reference first, then I need to put set C method, correct? Set C of CC. Then through setter method, we will assign this dot C equal to C. This is how setter method we will be having for manual dependency injection. Is this correct? For manually dependency injection, we used to create one setter method, correct? Like this. Again, for A class also, if you need that, B class object, just a minute. Yeah. Now here, these objects we are creating manually, DAO class objects. Consider the manual dependency injection used to happen. So in case of manual dependency injection, how we used to do, A object will be passed into B object, we will be passed into C, right? Sorry, C will be passed into B, B will be passed into A. Manually, we used to do that stuff. No, 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 no. What happened? Okay. So it is. Okay. So here in case of manually, while you are doing, first you will be creating C class object, B in C, ID. What happened with paint? Okay. Paint got hanged. We zoomed it too much, right? No problem. So if A, B, C are there, classes. So we'll be creating in manual dependency injection. We'll be putting C class here, ID, something. C class reference we used to put here, any ID. Okay. C object maybe is the ID. So here B, B object, C object, B object, and A object. Now if these classes are having setter method, in A class if I have, in A class if I have reference of B, 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 and to inject that B I will be having set B method, B, B, this dot B is equal to B. This is how setter dependency injection we used to use for B class, and here set C if C class is having dependency of, if B class is having dependency of C. Set C we use CC, this dot C is equal to C. Same way if C class also having some dependency of DAO or connection pool. We used to put that connection pool reference here, but it's okay. Now I want to inject this C class into B, B class into A. This B into A, I want to inject it. So C class bean is created, and in B class I have setter method of C. I have setter method of C. So into B class now I want to pass C object. So how I can pass using reference. Reference of C object you need to give. This is manual dependency injection. And into A class I want to pass B reference. So here you need to pass reference of B object. So instead you doing it manually here, use auto while concept. Yeah. No, you need to create it. In case of XML approach, we will be having them. While using annotation based auto wiring, even setter methods also not required. Okay. For XML based approach, we will be having, yeah, we will be having setter methods. In annotations concept, they avoided this also. They avoided the setter methods also. Later we will see, okay, once done with this example. So now here if you see, oh, it's okay. Let's leave it. So this is B class and this is C class. So C object manually I am injecting here, and B object manually I am injecting here. So this object passing here and this object is passing here manually. So in case of auto wiring, the same thing will turn like this. In case of auto wiring, the same thing will be turned like this. Okay. We will be not using any reference here. We will ask to do auto wire. We'll say to Spring AutoWare. I'll be giving here by type. If I give by type option, AutoWare is equal to by type, then Spring will think about it. You need not to do any dependency injection. When you mention it, then Spring container will go to your B class first, and it will see how many setter methods you have. In B class, how many setter methods we have? Only one setter method. That is set C. Set C is expecting which object? C object. Okay, it will understand your requirement. It will understand your requirement. Okay, B class needs a C object. He is having one setter method. He need a C object. Why? Why? Because it is trying to do that understanding here. Because you mentioned auto void. You are asking to Spring. You do it. So Spring went to B class first and it understand. It need to understand, right? If you want to do something, you need to understand that what you need to do, what you need to automate it. So Spring is understanding what should be injected here. Okay, C required in B class. It understand. Okay, C object is required in B class. It understand, and it will search for that C object in your XML file. Within XML file, is there any C object? It will see here. No, it is A object. It is B object. Yes, this is C object. Okay. Now what it will do? Automatically, the C object will be injected into B class, which means the setter method it will call automatically. And whatever C object is available, right, this C object will be injected into this B. Same thing. Though you are not passing this reference, it will do it for you. That is what auto wiring is. So this B object also will be passed automatically into A. Shall we start? See an example. Yeah. Okay. So now I'll try to make it little more simple. Okay. So consider here I have same car class car, and I have a class engine. Okay, class engine. Okay, ask me any number of times for this auto wiring and this automation concepts. Very important. Okay, I have class engine and I have class fuel. I have class fuel. Okay, if you need this fuel object into engine via dependency injection manually, how you will do? Tell me that step first. I need a fuel in the engine. I need engine into the car. So fuel, yes, fuel F equal to new fuel that we do manually. But as we are using dependency injection concept, this new keywords we never use. Fuel reference only we create, and we create one setter method, set fuel. So via this set fuel method, manually we inject it. Correct. This dot f equal to f. This is the method where will help you to inject this fuel object. From where we do that? From XML file we do that. Okay. I have a fuel reference. This is I need. This is my dependency. This is my dependency. So this dependency I'll be injecting via setter method. Same way, car class also need a engine. Without engine, I can't run the car. So I have setter method here, set engine. So here I'll take engine. This dot e equal to e. So these setter methods are very much required for manual dependency injection. This will be avoided in auto wiring concepts that we will see. Now setter methods are there to inject fuel object, and for car also setter method is there to inject engine object. So my classes are ready. What else remaining? Configuration is remaining. I returned car class, engine class with the dependencies. Now you need to do the dependency injection. How we will do? Here I have a bean tag. Bean class is equal to car, and this car needs a engine object. Okay, so I need to pass engine class reference here. Yet engine object is not created, but consider your engine ID is E. So this is how you need to pass engine reference here. You may ask question, where is E? Let me create E also. Bean class engine, okay, and id is equal to e, and this engine needs a fuel object, so fuel reference I'll pass here, and I'll be creating fuel object also here. Bean id or bean class fuel, id is equal to f. So in case of manual dependency injection, what I am doing, fuel object I created, okay, and the reference of fuel object is what? Reference of fuel object is f. It is f. So manually I am injecting here as a developer return this a reference, and I am passing that reference here. This is what manually dependency injection is happening. You are passing this object here. Okay. So that this engine is getting fuel object. So when you do this internally code wise, what method will call? This method will be called. When you pass this reference, right? Internally code, which code will execute? This code. It will call your setter method and give this object, whatever object it is created, it will give it here. So all other methods which wanted to use, yeah. No, that confusion we'll discuss later. No, If it is getting confused, we will see how to resolve it. First, let's try to understand. If I have a single one only, okay, I'll go to that confusion. If it gets confusions, how it will handle also we'll discuss. Okay, yeah, that all are valid questions. We will discuss. Okay, so now fuel object is passing manually here via reference. Same way, engine object also passing from here to here via reference. So you are doing dependency injection. So when you use a reference tag and pass it, it will pass this to here. Actually, we call setter method. Okay, I used the wrong tag here. We will be using property. Inside property, we will use reference. It's okay. Time being consider as we are going to use reference only. So this is how manually we pass each. Fuel we pass it into engine. Engine we will pass it into car. Now in case of auto wiring, they are avoiding this. First slowly, they started with this. They are saying you don't use reference tag here and here. I'll take care of it. If you can able to use this, you know, these lines they are avoiding it. In case of auto wiring, they are avoiding it. How? These tags, references don't use. I'll do it for you. How you will do it for me? You just configure auto wire is equal to by type. Configure auto wire by type in your bean tag. So the remaining everything I will be taking care for you. So just configure auto wire here by type, auto wire here by type. Just do it. So if you do this, what you are avoiding here, this references. Manually you are passing this, right? You are avoiding it. Till here, you are clear or not? Yes, right? When I configure auto wire here, it is avoiding you to configure references. So now you need not to do dependency injection. It is saying you don't do that. I'll take care of for you. It will take care for you. So now, is required. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So it is checking which object is required, then automatically it is injecting that object there. Okay, when I go to petrol bunk, they will see which side this petrol cap is there. Based on that, they will fill diesel or petrol. Generally, petrol tanks they used to give right side and diesel will give left side. They'll understand that, or else for safer side, I'm putting sticker also. But based on the fuel tank type, they will inject that fuel only. Correct? You are not telling them every time fill the diesel only. They will understand which is diesel tank, which is petrol tank, based on the sticker at least as sticked on your car fuel tank door. Okay, so that is little automation. Hmm. Yes. No, no. New engine will be created as soon as you used bean tag. Spring container creating your object. This object will be created by container. Object is ready with container. But where do you want to pass it? I want to pass it here. Whenever you use bean tag, new object will be created. Whenever you use bean tag, right, new object is ready for you. When I use bean class, exactly. So fuel object is created here, right? This object directly passing into engine. I'm not telling anything earlier. Earlier, I used to, get down the car and I go and careful tell him don't fill petrol, fill only diesel only here. This is my tank, diesel tank, fill diesel only. Carefully, I used to suggest. Now I am not doing it. I just auto wired it. Means I just put one sticker there. I mentioned it, D. Then he will understand D means diesel. He is filling diesel only. Sometimes it may go wrong. They fill petrol also. But somewhat I automated it. I am not getting down from my car. Just engine and AC, everything is on. So once he filled it, I am just tapping my credit card and coming out. Okay. So here the same thing. The fuel object is created by Spring Container. Now it itself is injecting it. It is not bothering you to put the references and all. It is saying put auto word. I'll take care for you. You don't inject anything. I'll take care of it. Then if you ask Spring to how you will take care, how you know, it will say you created a setter method. From that setter method, I can able to know. You put setter method set fuel here. Then I know, right? Set fuel method you given, that is like a sticker. Set fuel object you are sending, passing here. So I can understand. You need a fuel object. I have a fuel object with me. I'll inject it. So you need a engine object here. I have, yeah. By type, by name, constructor, none, auto detect. Five configurations we have. If you at least understand one, remaining we will go ahead. Each concept will raise some confusions. How we avoided everything we learn, but for no use. If you see latest applications, you will not find anything such. But let's realize it. In interviews, most people will ask this question: what is auto wiring? They put this simple frame, what is auto wiring? Then you can take 15-20 minutes of their time to explain this. Okay, so auto wiring means it's an automated concept to inject objects. It is a automated concept to inject objects. Okay, that is what auto wiring, simple words. Now you can say there are multiple ways for the auto wiring: XML based, annotation based. In XML based, we have multiple options. One is by type, one is by name, constructor, auto detect, none. None means nothing, manual dependency injection. If it is by type, by name means your class should have a setter method. If you have constructor option, it means you should have a constructor here to take the dependencies. Auto detect means you can have anything. It will understand. Developer saying, I may write anything, you find it out. Setter or constructor and do dependency injection. Okay. Anyway, we will go step by step into each topic. Okay. First, let's try to understand what is auto wiring. Auto wiring means passing the available object which you require. So my engine is required fuel object. As fuel object is available here, it will inject. And my car is need a engine object. As engine object is available here, it will inject it. Yeah. Now coming to by type. By type means type such it will do. By type means type such it will do. Let's say I send some people to register the votes. Okay, so I want to give special vote. Let's say in US, for people who are working on H1B, I want to give vote to them. I send some voter department. They went there and they are searching for the type. They will announce that who all are Indians came here with H1B visa, please come and register. What they are saying, who all came to US with H1B visa, you all need to register for voter ID. So via by type when I mention it, it is searching for that type. I have a engine. When I configure by type, right, I have a engine here. So what it means, for car class, it will search for the engine type. For car class, it will search for the engine type. You can have n number of classes: engine, fuel, gear, wheel. It don't care. It needs a engine. It will go straight away to your XML file. It will search for the engine class only. So whatever engine class is available, only that engine class will be eligible for the dependency injection. Same way, in the engine class, I have a fuel dependency. It will search for the fuel. I mentioned the type, right? Type means your class. Class is a type. It is a complex type. You must learn in core Java. String, character, integer, primitives, and your Java classes also types. They are the complex types or your own type. Class itself we call it as a type also, right? So this engine is a type. It will search for that engine type in your XML file. Okay, I found it. Spring will say I found it, I'll inject it. In engine class I have field type dependency. It will search for the field type and it will find, it will inject it. That is what by type means. That is what by type means. Coming to by name option also we have. By name means each name we should mention here. Fuel, petrol I need to mention. Then setter method name is set petrol. Then it will go to XML file and it will search for the fuel which is having ID petrol. Compulsory your setter method name and here ID name should match in case of by name. In case of by type, it's up to you. Your setter method name is set fuel and ID is F. So you need not to worry about ID. In case of by name, your setter method name and the ID name should match exactly pin to pin. It will check and inject. In case of by name, we will be seeing examples. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Here the reference. Yeah, definitely. Setter method it will refer. Once it go to the setter method and while passing it, if it's a different object, then it will surprise. A man you write, you return wrong setter method. I can't do that casting. So it will say typecasting error clearly. Man, I am not able to typecast from field to car. You wrongly guided me. Setter method means always you need to have the same type. That's why generally IDEs also will ask you to generate setter methods automatically. Or while using Lombok, you need not to write setter methods. Lombok annotation will generate setter method for you. Okay? There is a Lombok API. We will discuss. I'll conduct workshop. I'll teach. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, See, far better means here also the confusion scenario is there. Now I'm going to explain it. Okay? Let's see one example. I'll show you that confusion how it create a simple Java project auto wiring. For each, I'll create a different example by type, and this is XML based. Hmm. Create a project. Add library. I'll be writing beans here. Always try to assume this, in a MVC layer. Okay, everything. So consider your car like a controller, engine like a service, so that we'll be having attached to the real time. Okay. Yeah, DAO is like a fuel. Let me create a fuel here. Fuel class. Just to see when this object is created, I'll put SOP. Fuel object. Maybe for fuel, I want to set the fuel name. String fuel name. I'm expecting one doubt here. Okay, you will definitely ask. Set fuel name I have. Okay, so I wanted to pass fuel name. Definitely for this, I'll be expecting one question from everyone. Okay. Now fuel dependency I have in engine. So I'll be creating field reference and I'll write a setter method. Field object getting injected. If the setter method is executed via manually or automatically, this statement we can see. And during engine object creation, constructor will execute, right? Let me override constructor and show me how this object also created. And I'll be injecting this engine object into my car class. Obviously, cars are having engine dependencies. Without engine, no car is running. Maybe nowadays they are running with electric motors. Earlier we used to have engines. Now for EV cars, they are motors. Okay. So engine object getting. So just to observe when car class object created. Car object created. Okay. So this set engine method I can call manually or either through auto wiring, and I can pass engine object here. Same way into engine class set fuel method I can able to pass fuel object here. So this is my fuel. I have a fuel reference. I should do this value assignment in XML file. I'll creating one XML file. Resources. I'll copy one XML file. Okay. Spring.xml. Name it anything. Okay. First D. I'll be creating fuel object manually. I will do everything first. Class. It is there in DAO package, right? DAO dot fuel. Perfect. Engine reference. It is there in service package. And controller. It is there in controller package. Car object. Controller not. Okay. Now dependencies, right? Car is having dependency of engine. So manually, if you want to do that, manually, if you want, guys, go to mute if you are not talking. Okay. So here, what we do, we give the set engine setter method name here, and we used to pass a reference of engine class object. This engine we put here. This is manual approach. You all know it. Setter method we are calling and passing it. In fuel also I have dependency. Sorry, in engine also I have dependency of fuel set fuel. The setter method name I put here and need to pass this fuel reference here. So each class dependencies we need to check and we should pass them. And here I have fuel name dependency. Fuel name getting engine. I'll be giving property fuel name and the value diesel. So manually I injected everything. Manually I injected everything. So you can load and see object creation dependency injection happen. I'll be writing one class here. client main method application context is my class name container name class path XML application context. Load your XML file. Okay, fine. Now when I start this IOC container, this is eager container, immediately it will create objects. Along with the object creation, yeah, fuel object created into fuel, we passed the fuel name getting injected into engine object created and fuel object getting injected into engine, fuel object getting injected. Car object created and engine object getting injected into car. Okay, each object created and their dependency is also supplied. Okay, your application is fulfilled. Now everything happened manually. If I try to automate it, I'll complete this. I'll comment this manual approach. Same thing. Let's do it. Automation approach. Here I can avoid this tag completely. Remove it. Property tag is avoided. Just use auto wired by type. For engine class also I wanted to avoid it. Remove it. Configure auto wired by type. That's it. Your fuel object will be injected into engine automatically now. Your engine object also injected into car class automatically now because I auto wired it. Earlier I used to do that manually. Earlier I used to do that manually using this property tag. I used to use this by using property tag. Now that is completely avoided. Earlier I used to inject it by using property tag. Into engine class I injected, yeah, for everyone. Yeah, maybe your internet is lagging. So where it is stopped? Screen sharing? Okay, maybe it will refresh. Okay. So during manual dependency injection, how it is happening? I was using property tag and passing references. Now I avoided that property tag and references here. Here and here I avoided, and this is not avoided. I am expecting question here. Okay, why we can't avoid? For all secondary types, dependency injection is possible, not for primitives. Okay. Here also you may say, can we put auto wiring? Okay, I'll put auto wired. Who will bring this diesel name or petrol name here? Nobody, right? These are the primitives. You need to assign them. You want to hard code it or manually you want to pass it? You do it. Auto wiring is applicable only for objects, not for primitives. Okay, that's why into fuel class, into the setter method, manually I injected a fuel name. Either it can be a petrol or diesel. This you have to do at any way. And here I avoided the remaining two tags because they are secondary types. Engine class is having set fuel, it is a fuel secondary type, and car class is having a set engine, this is engine type. So that tags I avoided here. So now see whether that setter methods, yeah, yeah, exactly. Manually you need to do auto wiring. It will take care of your secondary types. As you asked, right? If I want a car name, string car name that you have to inject. Auto wiring can't help you. Setting car name, it's your responsibility. It cannot do it automatically. You need to do this. So here you auto wired setting engine. It is possible with the spring, and setting the string name not possible. You do that. All property tags not avoided with auto wired. With auto wired, which tags avoided? Only the secondary type objects are avoided. Secondary type tags are avoided. Primitives you need to pass. No option for you. Or else we have different annotation concepts to avoid. If I am avoiding something means I need to find alternative. There are some alternatives. Okay, that we will see. Anyway, that the concept is not auto wiring, but it's a different concept. Okay, our name Audi Q5 or Q7. But here I avoided one tag. Here also I avoided one more tag. Here engine tag and here fuel tags I avoided. Check them still whether the tags are executed or not. Property RDQ7. What is wrong? Oh, sorry. Setter method name. Set car name. This is value. I confused it. Run it. Fuel object created. Fuel name getting injected. Engine object created. Fuel object injected into it. Car object created. And car name given. Then engine object is getting injected. Everything injected here. So avoided this beginner references here. Wherever references were occurring before, that references tags avoided. I'm not using any references tags here. Who helped me to avoid that means auto by type. Now, in case of type, there is a confusion. Okay, in case of type, there is a confusion. What is that confusion? For engine class, I am saying to inject the fuel object. Cool. Now I went to petrol bunk. I said inject fuel, fill the fuel. Then he will put again a question, which fuel you want. He is in a confusion state. He may ask you to put a question, do you want petrol, do you want diesel, do you want CNG or do you want LPG? Which fuel you want? Then again I need to say my car is petrol car, fill the petrol. If there is such a such a confusing scenario here, I have two fuels here. Fuel one object I have, fuel two object I have. One fuel is petrol and one fuel is diesel. While doing automatic dependency injection, so there are no, petrol bunk, there is no person, automatically robots used to fill. Now robo got confused. Robo saying he have an engine with the fuel and I have two fuel objects. Which fuel I need to inject? It will confuse and say I'm getting confused. In such scenario, how it can resolve it? Try to run it and see whether it will get confused or not. You can see. You will getting exception, and in exception, if you read carefully, right, it is saying no unique bean of type fuel is defined. Getting? It is saying actually we have two fuels in our petrol bunk. Somebody came to fill the fuel. Somebody came to fill the fuel. To fill the fuel. But we have two fuels here, fuel 1 and fuel 2. Which one need to inject it? I'm getting confused here. It is saying I'm getting confused. We don't have single fuel. We have four fuels. He came to fill the fuel. which fuel I need to inject. So finally it is saying unsatisfied dependency. Expected single matching. Yeah. Expected single matching but found two. Clearly it is saying I'm expecting, robot saying I'm expecting only one, you given two. What do you want me to do? You are getting me to confused. Spring saying you are confusing me. You asked to do auto wiring concept. I agreed for you, but you are confusing me. Still fine. You can avoid this. Then I'll say spring, whoever coming for the petrol, I mean whoever comes directly to fill the get the fuel petrol, sorry, whoever comes to the petrol bunk to fill the fuel for them, you do only petrol filling until unless somebody specify manually fill the diesel. Getting what I'm saying to him, uh, spring is for everybody fill the petrol only until unless he say I need a diesel. So going forward diesel cars are avoiding. So for my robot saying very less diesel cars you will get to the petrol bunk. If at all, if it is a diesel car, the owner will say to you, hey robo, fill the diesel, then only you do that. Until unless he mentioned it, you don't care about other petrols. I mean other fuels. So it will ask you how I can identify it. In XML you configured both, how I can identify it. Both are fuels, which one I should avoid. So which one you should avoid, that I will put a tag here. Auto wire candidate false. Which means this diesel object is not participating in auto wire. So robot will understand, okay, diesel is not for auto wire. So I don't have any confusion. When this engine class requires a fuel, automatically this petrol will be injected here. Until unless you specify manually. Manually means you should do remove this auto wide tag and you should mention my car needs diesel. Then only the diesel will be injected here. I have one more engine if I specify. Okay, don't get confused. So now here I have only one engine, okay, by type. Now it will go and it will find two objects. Still it will not confuse. One diesel object it is saying I'm not participating in auto wiring, so don't confuse. Find it who is available for auto wiring. This is available for auto wiring. By default, for every bean tag, auto wire candidate is true, which means this is the candidate bean which will participate in auto wiring. By default, it is true for every bean. Every bean is available for auto wiring until unless you mention it is not available for auto wiring. Now, no confusion for it. Now you will not see this exception. Whatever earlier you said, single matching. There are two, but it won't get confused. Everything working fine. Fuel, fuel name getting injected, fuel object getting injected into engine, fuel object getting injected into car object getting injected. Everything is happening now. Two fuel objects are created. Still, it is not getting confused. One is with petrol, one is with diesel. Diesel is not participating in it. If there are any such scenarios, right? If there are any such scenarios, okay, we need to mention whichever beams are not required in auto wiring. Mention them. Auto wire candidate false. So it will not participate in auto wiring. But this is very old concept. And in general, in our application, we never duplicate object. We never duplicate any class object. We never do that. We never create two times the same object. We never do that. In a very rare cases, we do that. If we do that, also still we have solutions. In annotation based approach, we have solution. In XML based approaches, also we have solutions for every problem. Cool. So tomorrow we'll see by type, constructor, and other examples because doing example simple. Now concept wise you understand, right? So we'll do examples tomorrow. Then we will go to annotations approach. That is very important. Okay, because no XML files here is. But this is how we used to do earlier. If you jump into any old applications, right, you will be seeing like this. So you will be comfortable even old application also if you get assigned to it, right? Easily you can able to understand how old configurations. Even if they ask you to modify from old application to new application, easily you can able to adopt, modify. Okay. Yeah. So for today we'll stop here. We'll see tomorrow the remaining, you know, types of auto wirings, and are there any confusion scenarios with them also we'll see, and we'll conclude it. Okay.